What is going on, everyone? It is me, Jeremy, and welcome back to the channel. In today's vid, I'm straying from the path and testing out some different creative venues opposite those pertaining to just drawing in favor of something like, say, cosplay? Now, for those unfamiliar with cosplay, cosplay, put simply for lack of better phrasing, is ultimately dress up. But like, for adults, rather. Okay, well, technically cosplay is much more than that. It's a community in which a love for a particular fan base to an intellectual property is shared. Cosplayers worldwide will assume the role of a certain character and either buy or create their own renditions of a specific character from a movie, a show, a comic book, etc. The list is infinite. So for instance, my love for the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender stems from the nostalgia factor of falling in love with both the show's storyline and its characters. Namely, one character in particular.
What is that thing?
This is Appa, my flying bison.
Right, and this is Katara, my flying sister.
Hurry up, Sokka!
Just a guy with a boomerang. I didn't ask for all this flying and magic. Look, can your fortune-telling explain that?
Can your science explain why it rains?
Yes! Yes, it can!
That's how Sokka started yesterday. Now look at him. He thinks he's an earthbender.
Take that, you rock! Looks like Long Fang is long gone!
Yeah, I've been waiting to use that one.
If I get out of this alive, it's a karmically correct vegetarian existence for me. No meat. It's pretty much my whole identity. Sokka, the meat and sarcasm guy. But I'm willing to be Sokka, the veggies and straight talk fellow. Aang! Thank goodness! Have you got any meat? I'd like to spend my vacation at the library! Boo! No talking!
Don't boo at him.
Oh, great and powerful sea serpent, please accept this humble and tasty offering.
Cactus juice. It'll quench ya. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest!
That is Sokka, aka the sarcasm and meat guy. If you don't quite get the reference, I implore you to go watch this televised masterpiece streaming on Netflix and educate yourself on the lore that is Avatar: The Last Airbender. But a quick rundown of who he is. Sokka is the eldest remaining male from the Southern Water Tribe due to all the abled men in the village having been recruited for the 100-year war against the Fire Nation, who've since burnt all the 4 nations to ash and rubble. But anywho, in like the first 10 minutes, we're introduced to the goofy duo Sokka and his waterbending sister Katara. Oh, and Sokka is unable to bend any of the 4 elements. However, his inability to bend doesn't stop Sokka from using his strategic combat prowess and brains to dig his way out of sticky situations. Growing up, there weren't really any TV show characters that I could relate to that were of color. It was mostly pale-skinned, white-dominant male characters, and while there's certainly no issue with white characters, it was nice seeing myself in a mainstream series. I chose to cosplay Sokka mainly because of his wisecracking, witty persona, as well as his good intentions and big heart. Not to mention, he's very clumsy. So without further ado, let's dive right into this cosplay. As you can tell, my hair was a bit messy before I started filming this, so I went ahead and started brushing my hair out just to kind of straighten it out and kind of neat-nick it. My hair does get very matted and very wadded at the end of the day, so it's nice to kind of have it straightened out every once in a while, but here I am going to make myself look like a goth. Once I get my hair positioned the way I want it straight down my forehead, I begin to part it and separate it into 2. Parting it like so will ultimately help me be able to pull my hair back into a ponytail, that of Sokka's. Once the brushing is all done, I then fluff it out by brushing my fingers through my hair to kind of help smooth everything. Once that is complete, I am now ready to put the hairband in. I tie my hair back really tight just to make sure no hair is out of place. If you take a good look at Sokka in the TV show, you'll notice that his sides are actually shaved off, but I actually couldn't do that just for obvious reasons, but I went ahead and just tied my hair back. Once I get the ponytail into position, I kind of just tighten it up a little and then I kind of fluff it out with my hairbrush. I then pulled 2 strands of hair down to the sides of my forehead just to make sure it looks kind of even. Now that I have Sokka's ponytail somewhat decently replicated, I'm ready to move on to his accessories. So when it comes to Sokka's necklace, I actually wasn't entirely sure what inspired his necklace. I did my research and I found out that his necklace is actually inspired by the Inuit/Eskimo tribes. While I couldn't really get my hands on anything to that assortment, I just resorted to finding a puka shell necklace and it just worked. I am now ready to move on to the costume portion of this cosplay. While it was ideal to actually cut out my very own pattern and sew it together, it was actually more practical to just buy it from the Spirit Halloween store. Everything down to the last detail of Sokka's gloves being cut off like they were in the TV show was just spot on. My only nitpick about this costume was just the boomerang bag he carries. It actually doesn't open up. Not to mention, I actually searched high and low often on the internet to find a boomerang replica, but I actually resorted to just making it myself out of foam. Once the foam was cut out, I just painted over it. Trying to put the costume on itself was kind of tricky in its own right, mainly because the suit is just one whole piece. The costume's fabric itself is kind of flimsy and thin, therefore I had to be very cautious as to how to put it on so as not to stretch it out or tear it. As for any costume, the hardest part of getting it on is actually zipping it up. It took me a few tries, but I eventually succeeded in zipping it up. Once the zipper is finally fastened, I then go back and I kind of smooth out the wrinkles in the costume. Once the wrinkles are all smoothed out, I then make myself look a little more presentable. I then tuck everything away, square it off, and then boom, I'm ready to put everything back on. As much as I hate the fact that Sokka's boomerang holster is impractical and actually doesn't do anything, it actually is a nice touch to the entire costume. Once I have Sokka's boomerang holster squared away, I am then ready to put the gloves on. Interestingly enough, Sokka's gloves actually don't have any closings at the pinky, so it's kind of weird having my fingers sticking out. I honestly wasn't for sure what to do about the boots, so I just kind of went thrifting and I found these leather boots. Sokka's boots in the TV show were actually a darker brown, but these were the only kind of dark brown boots I could find at the thrift store, and it was honestly a pain trying to put these things on. I mean, just look at that zipper and how short it is. I'm not even going to talk about trying to get the boots off, that's another story. With everything finally assembled, it's time to see the big reveal. The only finishing touch to this cosplay are the blue contact lenses I once had, but they went missing, so I guess that's that. Overall, I had so much fun putting this cosplay together. I'd like to think I embody Sokka's personality as well as his physicality. There were some aspects in the show where he would actually have his hair down, so I kind of tried to replicate that. Honestly, this ongoing waging war on the internet, going on about how Sokka's hair looks better down as opposed to it being up, really goes to show just how beloved a character Sokka has become. I really do feel like the writers of this show were actually taking inspiration from me because, like, I mean, look at this. I mean, some of these are, like, uncanny. I mean, just look at that and that. I mean, just cast me already. Well, that wraps things up for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys want to see more of this kind of content. Be sure to like, share, comment what you thought of the cosplay. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.